This is the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. This podcast may contain adult themes, violence, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast, episode 312.
We're almost to the magic 313, and I think I've got an episode for 313.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yes.
Good. You can pick one this week.
I've got one ready. It's going to be a special episode with 313.
Okay, cool.
Everybody knows that I like the number 13, so.
Awesome. So,
we're not even going to talk
week.
we're not going to talk about weeks.
I had a good day today, though. Juliet had her basketball game, and
I did not.
Dude, Tracy bought fucking shit to make homemade pizza. I made myself a 16-inch pizza with all the whatever I could fucking put on that motherfucker, and it was so good, dude.
Oh, good. The only thing good I got to report is I got Sabotage returned to Wacken imported in from Germany.
Ooh.
But I thought it was actually live. Right? It's not a live album. It's just a compilation album, so I was quite disappointed.
A compilation of live tracks, or
no, of just regular tracks. But
okay.
It's still cool to have because Sabotage hasn't put out an album since 2001 as far as Sabotage, but it's got this huge book and all kinds of stuff talking about they were planning on the reunion at this point, so this was sort of reintroducing Sabotage to the masses who don't know who the hell they are, I think. So glad to have it.
Cool.
I may start getting into Sabotage more this year as we go.
Yeah, they're going on tour, aren't they?
Yeah, I wish you knew more about them.
I know a little bit about them, but not much. Just some couple albums they put out in the 80s, and then they're basically the what do you call it?
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They never broke up. They just switched bands.
Kept existing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they Christopher Caffrey said, "Well, we still play Sabotage songs on every Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert." So he said, "We never broke up. It's just they're ready to do the full shebang again."
Cool. That'll be
but
awesome.
That's for another episode. Tonight we are going to talk about Frankenstein. There he is, right there.
Frankenstein, the son of Frankenstein, actually.
And it is actually, besides the Abbott and Costello, the last time Boris Karloff will wear the makeup.
Yep.
This is his final appearance as Frankenstein monster, or as this movie points out, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein with the furry coat.
Why was he wearing a furry coat?
I don't know, man.
That annoys me every time I watch this movie.
I don't know. That
maybe Karloff was cold while they were filming this or something.
Maybe, who knows? But anyway, here we go. Son of Frankenstein from 1939.
Now this is the third in the series. It's a sequel to the original. I don't think it's a sequel to The Bride of Frankenstein.
Nope, it's not.
It's a direct to the, so it's more of a, yeah.
It's supposed to take place like 25 years later or something.
After the original, yes.
So
they don't mention The Bride of Frankenstein at all in this movie. No. At least to my knowledge.
All right. Produced and directed by Roland V. Lee. Screenplay by Willis Cooper. Cinematography by George Robinson. Edited by Ted Kent. Music by Frank Skinner. And the score for this was a little mediocre.
I didn't like the score. I was thinking of that while I was waiting on you to come on. I was like, that score is not very good.
The thing is, they use this same score in like 30 other Universal
They
movies.
do. Yeah. It's
So
like move my camera up there. There, that's better. Yeah, they use that score a lot, I think. So very generic.
production company is Universal Pictures Company, distributed by Universal Pictures Company.
When did they become a company?
I guess they were a company back then.
I guess.
Release date January 13th, 1939. Running time of 99 minutes, and this was probably the longest at the time, the longest running time for a Universal Monsters movie.
Yeah, and it feels long too.
Because most of the other ones they're right around 80, 82 minutes. So yeah,
Yeah, this one feels long to me at least.
it is long. Country of origin United States, English language, had a budget of $420,000, but started out at $280,000.
Yeah, they doubled the budget. I remember that.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you go over the plot, Carl?
Okay, like I said, this is a sequel to the original Frankenstein that doesn't follow the Bride of Frankenstein really. Um, in this one, Wolf von Frankenstein, which is one of the sons of, I forgot what they called him in the original. Didn't they give him a different name?
Henrik
Henry.
Heinrich. Yeah.
Heinrich Frankenstein. He has several sons, and this is Wolf. Wolf von Frankenstein. Sounds like a rock star to me. Decides he's gonna him and his boring wife and annoying little kid are gonna come reclaim the castle. So they take the train to Frankensteinville. They never do say what city this is, to my knowledge.
Frankenstein, but it was called something else in the
Yeah,
original.
yeah.
We'll get to that.
So
I think that's
in the trivia.
in the trivia, yeah.
Yeah, so the villagers aren't happy that they're there, obviously. Nobody wants him there. And he's like, well, I'm going to change y'all's opinion about me. My father was a genius. He just had the mistake that some idiot put an abnormal brain in the monster. So, he's all gung ho about this. The villagers are not. So he gets to the castle, sets up that annoying kid of his. That little boy was annoying. I guess back in the 30s that was considered cool. I don't know.
He he could have been like on the Little Rascals or something. Our
Yeah,
gang.
that sort of reminds me of. I'm kind of thinking that's just how the 30s acting was, maybe,
Yep.
of a little kid. But he buddies up with the constable, I guess he is, of the town who's got a peg arm. And I can't tell if it's supposed to be comedic or if it's supposed to be serious, but
I
he's
know,
like
right?
moving his arm around. And again, I don't know if it's just the 30s comedy or if it just was unintentional, but I thought it was weird. But he says, well, your father's monster tore my arm off when I was a child. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So then we get introduced to Igor, the hunchback, who'd been hung and successfully survived a hanging and did not die. And he's got the deformity now. Played by the great Bela Lugosi, which might have been one of Bela Lugosi's best roles, honestly, I have ever seen.
Yep.
I've seen this movie a million times, but I really paid a lot of attention to Lugosi and the Igor character this watch, and yeah, it made the movie really. So Igor is up to no good. Wolf Frankenstein wants to prove his father was a genius, and well, guess what? There is a Frankenstein monster played by the great Boris Karloff wearing a fur coat in this movie. And that
Yeah.
is son of Frankenstein, and literally that is what it is. It is the son of Dr. Frankenstein who comes to
Exactly.
town like Santa Claus coming to town.
All right, let's go over the cast. First off, we got Basil Rathbone as Baron Wolf von Frankenstein, Boris Karloff as the monster. Like you said, Bela Lugosi is Igor.
Very good job too by Lugosi.
Yep.
I thought at least.
Lionel Atwill as Inspector Krogh.
That's the pig arm guy
Yep.
or wood arm. I don't know what the fuck was going on there.
Well, he kept sticking darts in it when they were playing
I
darts. So
know that,
I
like I
think,
said, I couldn't tell if this was comedic or they were being serious or what.
next up, we got Josephine Hutchinson as Baroness Elsa von Frankenstein. Donnie Dunnigan as Peter von Frankenstein. Wolf and Elsa's young son.
The annoying one.
Emma Dunn as Amelia the servant. Edgar Norton as Thomas Benson the butler.
He played a good role.
Yep. He sort of looks like what's his name? Similar to from the Hammer films.
I don't know.
I can't think of it now. I'll think
Don't
of
you
it
hate
later.
that when we're on air and you can't
I
think of stuff?
know. Bugs the piss out of me.
Happens to me all the time.
Uh per, per, Perry Ivans as Fritz a servant. Lawrence Grant as the Burgomeister. Michael Mark as Ewald Nemuller, the juror. Lionel Belmore as Emil Lang, another juror.
Email.
Emil.
Oh,
Emil. Emil.
email.
And I'm not going to name all these burgers off. They call them all
No, we don't care
burgers.
about all the burgers.
So
Hey,
that
look
is.
behind me. There's leather.
Oh, you got
Almost
the
called him
head in
Leather
there.
Wolf. It's Leatherface.
Wolf. Oh shit.
I see
So
your Budweiser sign too.
yeah, I like that. You like
That
that?
thing was sitting in the garage rotting, and I didn't think it'd ever work again. It looks freaking great.
Yeah, it was
Looks fucking awesome there,
I took the
and it's
old
not too
piece of,
bright.
well, you can turn it up brighter, so
Oh,
but
okay. Well, you got
that
it perfect for the
yeah,
show.
that's on its lowest thing. If you turn it up too much, you get a glare. So uh yeah, I just bought one of them cheap little $6 under cabinet LED lights
Wow. That's amazing.
and stuck it in there, took all the guts out of it and stuck it, cleaned it up and stuck it
Yeah,
in
the
the
guts needed to come out of that thing.
old
I thought
piece
I
of
was gonna fix it for you, and when I opened it up, I was like, "Oh shit!"
stuff. Yeah, I just ripped it all out of there and yeah, so it's back to life.
And looks great.
All right, you got the Blu-ray of this, don't you, Carl?
This is the Frankenstein Legacy Collection, which was the last release they've done on these. They are starting to put a lot of the Frankensteins on 4K, but they only did Bride and the original from 31. So probably we're only going to get Blu-ray on these. It comes with the 31, the Bride, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, and then it repeats, which is on the other box sets, which is sort of annoying to me. It's got Frankenstein meets the Wolf Man, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and that Abbott and Costello movie. No extras at all for Son or Ghost, nothing. So it's the two movies are on one Blu-ray. So sort of a boring release from Universal. They just, of course, push the main movies. Sorry about that. I dropped it. But they look good and they're clear as a bell, so I don't know that we really need a bunch of extras for Son of Frankenstein. I mean, it might be nice to get a little bit of information. But
Well,
yeah, this is the box set.
when was that
Uh
put out?
it's been a while.
I was gonna,
Um
I was gonna say they
Probably
probably.
about 8 years ago.
I was gonna say everybody's dead to do any extra. you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's about 8 years ago. There's some there's stuff for the original and the Bride of Frankenstein extras, and that's about it. But
I
like I
thought
said,
you can buy
hmm?
just the Blu-ray of it though. I think
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen it. You can
I
get
think
it
it's
on
on
a
Amazon.
Voodoo's got them, or now Fandango. But again, they're just in Blu-ray definition, whatever you
Yeah,
call that.
that's what same way it was on
The
uh
only one that's Bride of Frankenstein and 31 are in 4K, but nah, you know. I did get the Wolfman in 4K, remember, about a year ago.
yeah, that's
But
right.
I like the Wolfman better than any of them Universal movies, as we've said before. So it's in HD. If you want them, it's a good box set. Like I said, a lot of duplication. If you want, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and Dracula, you get the fucking movies 3 times, which is, I don't know, I don't get that, but that's how they marketed them and that's how they did them. Maybe we'll get a 4K of all of these eventually, but I don't really see that coming. But good copies. They look clear as a bell. No complaints at all.
Good, good. So it's
It's
just
certainly not a Screen Factory release, but
oh
it's
yeah.
fine.
Well, maybe they'll let Scream Factory
They won't let them touch their classics.
well,
They only let the Scream Factory touch all the B movies.
gotcha.
That's Universal's the way they've always been.
So it's just bare bones Blu-ray then.
Bare Bones Blu-ray on the same disc as Ghost of Frankenstein.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into some trivia here. First off, we got Karloff used a harness when he carried the little boy Donnie Dunnigan so that the little boy would not fall. Dunnigan has related how much he enjoyed working with Karloff.
Ain't
I wonder if
that
he's
fun?
still alive.
I doubt it.
Let's see. Let's look it up real quick here.
Look it up because I need to look up something here too.
Oh, let's see here.
Everybody still laughs at me because I have a
Yeah,
computer in
he's
front
still
that I use
alive,
an
man.
iPad. The kid's alive, huh?
Yep, he was born August 16th, 1934.
Good for him.
He's
Yes.
been in a couple of movies. Oh, he did the voice of Thumper in Bambi.
Oh, hell. Call me
What do you know?
impressed. Not.
All right. Because of the decline in Bill Lugosi's career, he was originally cast for a very low fee, but Roland V. Lee felt that Lugosi was being taken advantage of, and he fattened up his part by writing him more dialogue for the Igor part. So he would get paid more appropriately. Well, that was cool of him.
Yeah, Lugosi did start to go downhill pretty quick. He just really was typecast as Dracula, and that ruined his career. But he was happy to be typecast as Dracula, I do believe. But sad story.
They originally discussed to shoot this film in Technicolor, but the decision was made to revert it back to black and white. Both director Lee and co-star Josephine Hutchinson verified in later years that the film was designed for and shot in monochrome. Urban myth has it that Karloff's makeup photographed bright green and was a primary reason for shooting it in black and white.
It would have looked shitty in color. I would not want to have seen a color Universal
It would look like
classic.
that sitting behind you.
It would have, wouldn't it?
Yep. Let's see here. Another myth has it that Dwight Fry was in the Technicolor test reel and was subsequently dropped from the cast. In the late 1980s, a reel of Technicolor test footage was discovered at Universal Vaults. It was either stolen from the desk of the executive whose possession it was in, or simply boxed up by bureaucrats and shipped to a New Jersey film vault. Karloff's family home movie shot on the set of the film reveal the monster's coloration to be grayish with subtle highlights and shadows of blue green and brick red. The
Odd.
brief clips show Karloff in monster makeup sticking his tongue out at the camera and pretending to strangle makeup artist Jack P. Pierce, who was not credited in this film,
I was
by the
wondering why his
way.
name wasn't mentioned.
Yep. Uh, this can be seen on the CD-ROM, The Interactive History of Frankenstein 1995. You got that
That
by
is not
chance?
on the Blu-ray. but I probably have a DVD somewhere around here of these
And
movies.
100 Years of Horror from 1996, courtesy of Sarah Karloff. Frank Skinner's musical score for this film, with its slightly off-key horns and plucked strings replicating a human heartbeat, was endlessly recycled in Universal horror films throughout the 40s. Jack P. Pierce estimated it took 4 hours to transform Boris Karloff into the monster.
Well,
I wonder
why
how
is he
long.
not credited?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Because I forgot about him too when we first mentioned the cast, so that's sort of weird.
Yeah. Uh, I
So it
wonder how
took,
long it took to put that furry vest on him. At
I
least
don't
an
know.
hour.
There's no trivia as to why he's wearing that vest.
In
No.
discussing the monster makeup for a newspaper article, Jack P. Pierce stated that metal studs in the monster's neck were really electrodes, inlets for the electricity that brought the creature to life. Didn't you always think that? I did.
You mentioned that when we did one of the other Frankenstein movies.
This is the first film in the Universal Frankenstein series to show any wires being connected to the monster's electrodes. Yeah. What, it just lightning hitting them before or some
Yeah,
shit?
it was lightning.
Horror legend Christopher Lee rated Son of Frankenstein as one of the best horror films ever made.
Ever.
That's what it says.
Can't argue with the Count Dooku.
Universal Pictures produced this third Frankenstein film after a reissue of the original Frankenstein from 31 and the Bela Lugosi's Dracula from 31 as a double feature. Proved huge success in 1938. Even greater success of the Son of Frankenstein prompted Universal to get back into the monster movie business, because they'd sort of slowed down,
They had slowed down. Yeah.
like from 35 on, they'd slowed it down with the horror movies. Then the studio continued churning out Frankenstein, vampire, mummy, and werewolf sequels throughout the next decade.
They certainly did.
Film marks the, we already talked about this. Last time he played the monster, uh, goes all into the, he didn't want to do the, what do you call it, with Abbott and Costello and all that.
Okay. By this point, he actually had become a big enough star that he didn't have to do the monster stuff.
Yeah.
Unlike Bella, who ended up playing Frankenstein at one point.
He did it says he did appear. That must have been just a headshot of him or something in the House of Frankenstein.
Nah, he wasn't in it, so I don't know.
Hmm. Oh no, he played Dr. Gustav Niemann.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember we've covered that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he was in the
Right.
movie as the doctor. I knew
Shit,
you're
that's been
confusing
so
me.
long ago. I don't remember that shit, dude. I probably won't remember this after tomorrow.
Did we do House of Dracula yet? You don't know.
I don't know. Have to hunt it down. Well, you got that sheet you printed out.
Well, I'm too lazy to look at it tonight. Continue on.
All right, let's see here. Oh, here we go. The name of the town where the action takes place is Goldstadt in the first two films, Frankenstein
Yeah.
31 and Bride of Frankenstein. Here it is called Frankenstein in the two.
So I was right. It's Frankensteinville.
Yeah, in the two subsequent films, the stories would take place in another fictional town, Visaria or Visaria.
That's because Igor and Frankenstein go on the run after this.
Yeah.
They leave Frankensteinville and don't come back.
Well, how are they going to do that with
What?
nothing? I don't want to spoil it.
We'll have to watch The Ghost of Frankenstein next,
Okay.
but not next week.
Not too long before shooting began, Boris Karloff voiced his concerns over how the Frankenstein creature might develop. His worries were partially justified when the character would be reduced to a comic strip, one-dimensional killing machine. To a certain extent, this began to occur in the Son of Frankenstein. Yeah, it did.
It did. It did.
Basically, he was going around killing everybody for Igor.
Yeah, he was taking Igor's commands in this movie.
After learning to speak in The Bride of Frankenstein, the monster is once again mute in this film, and there's no
Thank fucking
explanation.
God.
I know.
The
I know.
Karloff Frankenstein shouldn't be speaking.
No.
I know with the novel, but not this version. This dude here shouldn't be talking. No. So yeah, I'm glad they reverted him back to not talking, whether Karloff liked it or not.
Both Claude Rains and Peter Lorre reportedly were considered for the role of Wolf von Frankenstein. Lorre's casting was publicly announced before Basil Rathbone was cast. Wonder why they got rid of him.
Don't know.
Prime money. This film marked Bela Lugosi's first appearance in the Universal Frankenstein series, but it would not be his last. Lugosi reprised his role as Igor in The Ghost of Frankenstein, 1942, and portrayed the monster himself in Frankenstein Meets the Wolf Man from
He did.
1943. Lugosi also had a run-in with Frankenstein's monster while as the character of Dracula in the Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein from 1948.
Now, who played Frankenstein in the Costello? Was it Glenn Strange or was it? I for some reason I thought that Karloff came back.
I don't know.
I think it was Glenn Strange. I don't care because I don't like
I
Abbott and
think
Costello.
I think what's his name did. Yeah, for sure. He would yeah, because they said it was his last role as the monster until the Abbott and
Yeah.
Costello.
Okay, I was right. Never mind. I don't know. I'm tired now. Plus, I don't like those. I don't like Abbott and Costello. I didn't find their comedy funny. I'm a Three Stooges guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When Dr. Frankenstein looks at the monster's blood under a microscope, the image shown is clearly red blood cells overlaid on top of sperm cells.
It sounds like something Metallica would have done on the Load album.
Oh shit, that's funny right there. Like we said, both said Bela Lugosi's performance in this film is considered by many to be his greatest.
I think it is.
Totally
Besides
agree.
Dracula, I guess.
To add to the film's spook factor, Universal Pictures scheduled its release for Friday the 13th on January 13th, 1939. Surprisingly, for a film as dependent on makeup effects as this one was, makeup supervisor Jack Pierce receives no on-screen credit.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get that either. They evidently they had to have paid him.
We talked about Jack Pierce in detail in one of the other movies, but I don't remember. This is one of those I don't remember much of anything nuts. I even look tired on camera. Look at me.
Your
I
eyes
look
look
very
sunk
tired.
in.
I know I haven't slept hardly all week.
I didn't sleep this last night. I didn't sleep very good either. So, and I
Well,
took a
we'll talk about Jack Pierce when we do Ghost of Frankenstein someday.
first film to feature the hunchbacked lab assistant Igor, sometimes spelled
Igor.
Igor, who has since become an iconic part of the Frankenstein mythos.
Yes, he has.
The original Frankenstein 1931 featured a similar character named Fritz.
Yes, it did.
The claustrophobic interiors, angular furniture and walls, and deep, crooked shadows of the castle are staples of German expressionism. They perfectly enhance the film's uneasy mysteries that slowly unfold for the viewer and the characters themselves. It was a cool looking castle.
Yeah, the castle looked good, and I noticed even as a kid watching it the way all that architecture was. So sort of iconic to me, the whole castle.
Boris Karloff became a father for the first time while filming this movie.
Wow, hell.
Michael
What
Mark, who, huh?
was it? Was his kid Herman Munster?
I think it was his daughter.
Hmm. I'm just being stupid now.
Michael Mark, who
I'm
plays
making.
Juror Newmiller in this film, played Ludwig, the father of little Maria, who was drowned by the monster in Frankenstein 31. And I sort of thought he was going to do that little kid in too.
I was hoping that little kid was annoying.
Final film of prolific actor and director Tom Ricketts, a pioneer of the film industry who died 6 days after the film was released at the age of 85. Damn. Boris Karloff received top billing for the previous film, Bride of Frankenstein, but only second billing here behind Basil Rathbone. This added to Karloff's feeling that the monster was being pushed into the background. His age and success in more traditional roles convinced him not to return as the monster in later films. I could see his
Smart
point.
move for Karloff.
Yeah.
Yeah, smart move. He had went way past this at this stage. It became like Jason or Michael, just anybody could have played it at this point. The expressions that he had in the first movie are pretty much gone by now. It's a background character. He was totally right.
All right. Despite his frequent appearances in horror films, Basil Rathbone had a particular disdain for them. This is likely the reason for his over the top performance. This is most noticeable in the scene in which he and Inspector Crow play darts. Yeah, he was like a whiny bitch throughout the whole thing. He was even bitching at his
Yeah, a little
wife
bit.
and yeah.
That little kid.
Boris Karloff's scream when the monster finds Igor has been shot will be used 3 more times. It'll be used a second time in this film when the monster falls into the sulfur pit. It'll be used in The Spider Woman 1943. That's a Sherlock Holmes murder mystery film. And again in House of Frankenstein 1944 will be where it is used as Daniel's scream as the monster throws him from the laboratory window. Laboratory, I'm sorry.
A laboratory. I can't even talk tonight.
Lionel Atwill's over the top performance as the wooden armed dart throwing police inspector in this film was the inspiration for Kenneth Mars's comic turn in Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, I knew that. We can't see him good, but there's our Frankenstein right up there.
Ooh, there he is.
He's kind of hit. That lights are all starting to phase out back behind me. I think need new batteries.
The huge mirror in the lab was used to direct sunlight toward the operating table as lighting was poor back then. They also used very large windows to let in the bright light. Part of the original shock theater package of 1950 of 52 Universal titles released to television in 1957. Followed a year later with Son of Shock, which added 20 more features. That would have been cool back then to be able to watch all them on TV. For sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It's about really all we got. We've talked about a lot of it
I was
already,
gonna
so
say I think you ran out of everything.
there's a couple more that we've stupid stuff about them damn burgers. we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't give a shit about those.
We don't care about the burgers. All right, Carl,
Okay, so
you going
we
first this
already
week?
I'll go first. We already said the soundtrack was generic and used over and over again. The set was really good. A lot of people say this was the last great Frankenstein movie, that from this point on they become just B movies, which is hard to argue that that's not the case. As Lugosi, or not Lugosi, but Karloff himself said, the monster gets thrown into just a killing machine, which is why Lugosi and Lon Chaney end up, and then Glenn Strange is playing the monster. So this is probably the last of the really great Frankenstein movies. Maybe, maybe not, in my opinion, but it's not a terrible movie. I did, as we said, I did not like Bride of Frankenstein, and I think that put a majority of people disagree with me. But I think this is a really good sequel to the first movie. It holds up well. It's a little weird to follow. It's long. It's got odd comedy that may or may not be comedy. I think you explained some of that in the trivia why the one actor was acting the way he did.
Yep.
So, in the end, compared to the first movie, this is nowhere close. But compared to Ghost of Frankenstein, it's pretty damn good. I'm gonna give it a 3.75.
3.75. Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
I've
that's
watched.
probably a little lower than it should be.
Think,
Probably should give it a 4, but I don't know. I've seen this movie so many times.
yeah.
It's just drawn out and long to me. I
Well,
think I'm taking 0.25 away just because it's so long for a Universal monster movie.
yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't seen this in forever. I don't remember the first time I even ever seen it. I know I've seen it before because it looked familiar when I seen it. Actually
Yeah.
rented it off of Prime, and it was in that 4.3 letter box, but it was a good quality picture of it, but it was just in that 4.3
Yeah.
letter box, you know. So, uh, thought the acting was tremendous for on everybody's part for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
the acting is great. There's no doubt about it, especially Lugosi. I do think that might have been his best role.
I think the guy did a good job directing it, and cinematography was really good. Uh, just with all them different shots of that inside that castle and stuff, it was sort of beautiful in a way, you know. Uh,
It was.
I like this movie. I'm gonna give it a 4 for sure.
Well, that's why I knew he was going to give it a 4. That's why I took 2.5 off of it.
But yeah, I don't honestly can't remember where I actually seen this the first time. Maybe I rented it on VHS or something back in the day, if it was
Who
out on
knows,
there.
huh?
Huh? What's
Who
that?
knows?
I know. It's like or
I didn't.
seen it on they played it on regular TV or something back in the day. That might have been it too. But what
Yeah,
always got me was that
but I
fuzzy
definitely.
vest thing. That just bugged the
Yeah, I
shit
don't
out
like
of
the
me.
fuzzy vest.
I think
Bugs me too.
I'm knocking it down to 3.5 for the fuzzy vest.
Go ahead and knock it down. Yeah,
I'm knocking it down.
the fuzzy vest sort of ruins it.
It's like,
But definitely recommend this Frankenstein movie, especially if you're a fan of the classics, haven't seen it in a while, or never have seen it. Definitely give this one a watch after watching the original. Of course, take a look at Bride just to see what your opinion is. But this is a definite must watch Universal monster movie. Definitely. And that's all I got on this. I'm done.
all right. Well, I guess that's all we got for Son of Frankenstein this week. I guess Carl's got something special planned for next week for episode
313 will
313.
be a special episode. Yes, it will.
So, thanks everybody for watching and listening on the podcast, and check us out on all the social media. We've been getting a lot of people in the group lately.
Yeah.
So we've got like 3 or 4 this week alone, which is surprised the shit out of me.
How's things going with the Spreaker, the new web server?
Good, good.
Yeah. I was I was listening to the evil talk in the car on that app because it's on my Apple Play on the car.
Oh,
That
okay.
was a damn good show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do more of
I
them.
really enjoyed that. Hell, yeah, and we need Greg there. He really adds a lot.
Yeah,
That was
love
maybe
that
one of our
guy.
better shows, I think. Even though I was barely there, but for I think it was a really good show.
Yeah, it was fun. Get some more
Yeah.
people on there too. We brought Christine in there
Oh, we
with
got
us.
a freaking advertise it more than 2 days ahead, but I know why you were being a little leery because it was a test. Now we know it works.
Yeah.
So look for more evil talks. Send in your request and fun shit like that.
It was cool with all the people chatting along, and yeah, that was fucking fun as shit. I really enjoyed that, and I got drunk as shit.
I wish I could have been there
You
for the whole thing, but
you could probably tell as the because it was 2.5 hours almost. It's like, yeah, I was pretty smashed by the end of it. I had to go.
yeah, I was in the hospital actually watching it and chatting along.
Yeah.
I'll have to do a better job of monitoring the chat next time, probably. Although you and Greg did a good job of that as well. So,
Well, I was sort
great
of leery of
show, and
that too.
thanks, Greg.
I was sort of leery of that too because I didn't know if I was going to be able to see it all or whatever. It was like our first time doing it. So, but it's way better
Good
with the
job to
two.
you. Good job to Greg, and it was a great show. And more are coming. Live YouTube shows will be coming.
Yep. I was thinking maybe we should start doing our interviews with like people in that format, doing them
We
live.
could. We could do anything live. We don't script any of this shit.
No,
We could, but the problem is we never know when we're going to do the show. As far as we switched it around.
exactly. So,
But more
all
live
right.
shit coming. So we're done.
All right, everybody. Thanks. And where the hell am I at here? Stay evil, everybody.
Every fantastic story told of him by the people of Frankenstein, I now believe to be absolutely true. I, as a man, should destroy him. But as a scientist, I should do everything in my power to bring him back to conscious life, so that the world can study his abnormal functions. That would vindicate my father, and his name would be enshrined among the immortals. Benson, turn on the generator.